Moving up and down again, there's no discharge in the war. There's no discharge in the war.
Welcome everybody to the very first episode of Shepherd's Pie. I'm David.
I'm Tommy.
And
We're going into it today with our pilot episode number 1, that was recorded definitely on time and not being sent back to you in a time machine.
well, I mean, it was recorded on time. This definitely isn't the second time we're recording it.
Shit happens.
We lost my audio the first time. We did another episode. Actually, no, this episode we tried to record and Tommy's audio was echoey. We did another episode that's not going to be redone, where my audio was lost. Maybe that'll be uploaded at some point in the future for anybody who cares to just listen to a one-sided conversation. But that's probably never going upline.
Yeah, it's as you can tell, this is a pretty new thing.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't something that we went to school for, you know?
No.
This is something that we decided that we just wanted to do because it was something that we are highly interested in, and so we're just kind of dealing with what our broke asses can bring to the table. So,
so you're going to see a lot of stumbling along the way. The next couple episodes, there are still some messy audio, so bear with us on those next couple episodes of the messy audio. I'm learning. I don't know how to do any of this stuff.
Yep.
I'm figuring it out as I go. Some of the next 2 episodes, the picture is going to be a little stretched as well because, like I said, I'm learning, but we're getting there. So things
what I've been referring to it as is a passion project, because that's exactly what it is right now.
Things
this
will
is
get
something
better
that
as
we're
we
just
go.
doing because it's what we want to do, and we just want to do it, but we can only do it with what we have available. And I'm on a laptop. You've got a way better setup than I've got going on, but I'll get there. You know, I might turn my closet into a studio. Who knows?
Or my basement.
Or the basement.
We'd
that
like
might
a
be
space
another
where
thing.
we could talk together one-on-one, because we
Yeah.
are close enough to do that. But before we get rambling a lot, let's talk about what this show is. So this is Shepherd's Pie. I'm David. This is Tommy. We're best buds. We've been best friends since fucking 4th grade.
Oh, yeah.
And
Couple decades at this point.
yeah, and we've been fucking crazy crackpot conspiracy theorists since fucking high school. You know,
Yep.
we're both in our 30s now. And this is something like a podcast. This is something that we've talked about doing for a long time. A
Very long time. Yeah.
And I don't know what's really stopped us along the way. Life, our own demons.
A lot of life, a lot of demons, a lot of
and then
of
just
trying
like
to
procrastination
find our way.
and no will. I'll be honest, we were both lazy about it. We both weren't
Yeah.
striving to actually do it.
Yeah.
Finally just said, fuck it, let's do it. So there's no reason not to. We're fucking in 2025. It's easy enough to just hit record and send it out there. So hopefully you guys like it. I've already had the pleasure of listening to a few of our episodes, and I like it. Something I would listen to.
I think we've got character, 100%.
Yeah, so I'm optimistic.
Definitely
Tommy,
got a ways to go too.
what is going to be the focus of this show? What are we going to be talking about?
This is our pilot. We're going into
Not this,
why
the
we
show
want
in
a
the show in
podcast.
general, yeah.
Oh, okay, yes. So the show in general, we're of the conspiracy minded, of the schizo-brained, and just a lot of noticing, you know, been done during the past. I don't know.
Yeah, we've had all
since
the
we've
pills.
been alive. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like millennials have kind of had a crazy ride, as far as psyops and crazy shit happening in the world. So it's just been a culmination. And what we really want to do is we're trying to tie our worldviews, what we believe, what we've learned along the way, and bring it to you guys and try to wrap it up in a. We're both Christian. We definitely like learning though, so we learn about all the stuff. We're not really trying to stay away from too much. Yeah. So we're just trying to tie it all together and come up with a worldview that makes sense, not just for us, but for pretty much everybody, and to kind of build a little community, and maybe, who knows, man, maybe, I mean, what's the goal that everybody wants to do? You want to kind of change the world, I mean, I don't think that we can stop what's happening, but I think that we can grow a community and kind of, maybe make small differences, maybe get a snowball rolling from the top of shit mountain and it'll grow into something eventually, who knows? But
I mean, yeah, the community is the big thing. Like I said, we've been doing this since high school, and Tommy a little bit stronger and more passionately earlier than myself. So like I saw with you how it kind of separated you socially from people when we were all hanging out, and you want to talk about these topics, nobody wants to talk about it. So I want a community where we can talk about it, and you have a group of fucking tinfoil hat nerds on a Discord that you talk to.
I call them the Council of Nerds.
Yeah, but like, I want our own community. I want people that understand at a level that we're talking about it, because like I'll see a lot of these conspiracies, a lot of these topics, even like, not even just conspiracies, because we're going to go into like current events, politics, fucking culture, media, all these things. But through that Christian lens, like Tommy said. So, and I feel like that's what a lot of people miss out on, is it's like, damn, if you only just knew like how strongly this actually like is backed up and solidified by the Bible, by Christian beliefs. And like, I've kind of done it my whole life. It's like, people think that all of these things like science and all these conspiracies and
that they're all separate,
that it disproves God. And it doesn't. Along my journey, I've always like accepted kind of all things. Like there's nothing I really take as 100% truth, except for that Christ is King, and that we have a Creator, the one true God.
Yep.
And everything else is like I could believe it. It might be believable, but I'm not vesting all my faith in it like I do God. So
something I've kind of noticed, with like a lot of other podcasts too, is like they try to leave that part out. They try to leave the like root of it all, that we believe anyway, out of it. And I understand why. They don't really want to step on everyone's toes. They don't want to, they're just trying to present information and
people aren't trying to get into religious debates with people.
That I don't want to try to necessarily, I don't necessarily want to be forceful about trying to get people to, believe what I believe,
right?
Believe what we believe.
Yeah.
But what I want to do is I want to present our view. And I mean, if it doesn't convince you, then I get what you want from the stuff we're talking about, because I like the idea of just bringing up everything, nothing's off the table, and doing it from both try to be as non-biased as we can with bringing, just information.
I mean, we're going to be a pretty hard swinging Christian bias.
But yeah, so we're going to bring you the information,
we will try to like give you the opposing
that,
viewpoints too.
Yeah, our worldview is one of, biblical. It's very biblical. And I don't think that has to stomp on that information. I think that it only really adds to the entire the tapestry of it all. Really.
Right. That's where I was just going. Is like in school you're taught the Big Bang.
Yeah.
And it's like the Big Bang is supposed to disprove God. And it's like, no, like those things make sense to me. Like what's not making sense is that you're saying it's so long ago. I have some questions about that. We can get into that in the future.
Yeah.
But like the Big Bang just sounds like God creating the universe to me. Like those things, one and the same. Or you want to talk about like evolution. Like why couldn't God, though I don't believe in evolution, when I was a kid, I was like, why couldn't God create things to evolve? You know, like that makes sense too. Aliens in space. It's like, oh, well, that disproves God because it only says God creates people. I'm like, well, why couldn't God create aliens? Like I fucking just accepted all these things as like, you know, God could do all of that. It never made God any less powerful. Like, now
that is the result of people's kind of immature understandings of what an omnipotent, omnipresent God is. You know.
Well,
like,
and it was also my immature misunderstanding as to what my God was, is because I was willing to accept all these things as part of my truth.
It's part of the journey, dude. It really is, because I've
you're
done
a kid.
The same
You don't
exact
know
thing,
They fucking are brainwashing these children.
Yeah. You kind of try everything on, you know, when you're young, you're trying on different, you know, understandings, different spiritual beliefs.
Oh, and we fucking did.
Stuff.
We were in like, it wasn't social study, economics. We're in senior economics, and we're supposed to write this paper every day, and our teacher let us not write it because instead we were writing on the benefits of communism. Remember, there was like a weekly assignment we were supposed to do, and me and him didn't have to do it because instead we were doing our assignment on communism. What was it we were supposed to be doing? It was like we were supposed to.
I barely remember what you're talking about, to be honest.
It was like we were supposed to be like reporting on current events every week, and he wanted like a written essay each week on current events. And instead of writing an essay on current events, me and Tommy got to write about communism because we wanted to be communists when we were in fucking high school.
It sounds cool when everyone's pushing one way and you're trying to be a rebellious kid, you know, that thinks that they have ideas that are new or that are something helpful, and they just have a very misunderstood view of how things work.
Yeah.
You know,
so like if you ever think that we're like crazy hard left or right, or like if you ever think we've been every different side, you know, like I used to go I went to a Bernie rally once.
I did not know that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
How did I not know that? You went to a freaking Bernie rally.
Yeah, man. I used to really like Bernie. Not anymore. Fucking.
Yeah, I have to admit, when Bernie first came out, it was kind of like a thing, you know. Everybody, I mean,
he was popular for people our age.
Yeah.
But like Tommy and I were also into Taoism and Buddhism. Like we used to in high school, we super studied that shit. And yeah, along the way, like I think I get into this in another episode. I remember talking about this already. But like along the way, I incorporated all of these things into my belief system, and now I see how that was like a folly of mine. It was like a mistake I had made.
Yes.
Because along the way I was misled, and now I kind of feel like I'm back on a better track. I definitely don't feel like I'm anyone to preach. Don't listen to me. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, you know? Like we're going to say a lot of shit on here, and don't take any of it as fact. Even when we're showing the proof and all the sources, go check them yourself, you know? Like think for yourself. Yeah. We are just here to spark conversations, get conversations going, warn people of the things that are not spoken about. Let's fucking talk to some crazies and get some shit out there on the internet because but there's a lot of shit we want to go into on this show, and that's why we're doing it, is because we've had this like yearning, and this is going to be the best way for us to do it. We do plan on posting on almost everything. We're going to try to get you know, we're gonna try to do the thing, guys. We're gonna try to do the thing. It's something that, you know, obviously, as I said, we don't really have a lot of experience with, so it's gonna be all new. But it's something that we just feel kind of almost a responsibility to. But it's also just for fun and for kind of the love of the game. We're gonna give it a shot. So like I can't talk with this. Like these topics, I can't talk with people in my real life about these things.
Yeah.
So it will be nice to be able to bring up those conversations and then have a fucking episode of my own. I don't got to say, oh, I saw this video of somebody else talking about this. I can say, go watch my fucking episode on that topic.
Yeah.
And then come back to me and see what you think about it. Because, dude, I've been telling you, like, my boss is one of those people I'm trying to convert. I got him to admit dinosaurs weren't real the other day. And he started,
really?
Yep, he started off saying Marjorie Taylor Greene is disgusting, despicable woman, hater, but she said some things against Trump, so I actually like what Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying. And I'm like, how can you hate Marjorie Taylor Greene? What has she ever said that's so crazy? He said she doesn't believe in dinosaurs. And I was like, dude, I don't believe in dinosaurs. And he's like, well, okay, well, that's a fucking problem. I was like, well, if we're talking, like, if they found bones, I agree that they found bones. But, like, let's look at the studies of, like, what, like, he's seen the videos where people take the bones of modern animals and reconstruct them into what they think they would be. And you get these monstrosities because
you get things that look like dinosaurs.
Yeah. And so he's like, I'm like, I don't think they are what they're presented to be. And he was willing to concede on that point. And so, like, that's all I want, is I want people to concede a middle ground. You know, have a little bit more humility in your stances. Be willing to be more open-minded and discuss things with people.
Do you think we got it all figured out? Do you really think we got it all figured out? I mean, especially, we can stay on theme here for a second with this dinosaur thing. So, dinosaurs, they used to say were just like reptiles, you know? And they just looked like big lizards, dragon-type things. And that was for, like, a majority since like, you know, Smithsonian and these museums started just posting up these dinosaur, you know, like models. And then what happens recently within the past like 10, 15 years, they start saying they all look like birds now. They all got feathers, you know, like that's just within our lifetimes. It goes from one thing to another. It shifts constantly. And that's supposedly scientific method, you know, but also at the same time, really what people just got to get from this is like, you think you know something, you might not. You got to kind of come at things from what you said, a little bit more humility, you know, and just kind of see what's out there. See what's out there and formulate your opinions and your own opinions.
Right.
Your own.
So
100%.
On that point, I guess the topics we're going to be going into are similar to what we've already discussed. We've brought up a few already. We're going to be talking a lot of history through a Christian lens, because a lot of the history gets kind of considered myth and legend, and, you know, we're going to take shit literally. We're going to look at things as how the people said they were, not take things for granted. We're going to look at a lot of shit that we know is bullshit, like cryptids and monsters, but try to connect it back to things that we think are real, you know, because we're not deniers. We're just adapters. We want to look at modern events because there's a lot of things going on, you know, the last few years, and what we foresee into the future is going to be happening that we want to make sure people are aware of, isn't going over people's heads.
Because to us, this stuff kind of makes sense. You know, like, it makes sense the direction things are heading. And it's because we kind of have our understanding of the world, and that there's actually a narrative. Like, there's a story
and
that kind of tells
the Bible.
all of this. Yeah, exactly.
And an understanding of the Bible. So that's going to be part of it too, is we're going to go through the Bible. It's going to take a while, but maybe when we're done, we'll go through extra books of the Bible, like Enoch, and maybe after that do some other books. Don't know. But you know, we really want to hammer down like the actual text. I think it would be fun to do like maybe some Greek stuff, because
getting into like the mythology and stuff.
Yeah, because I think some of those creatures existed, man.
Yeah.
So
chimeras.
Yeah, or even better, like ancient Oriental religions.
Yeah.
Like
Well, that stuff is kind of separate from us, you know, like that whole side of the earth has just kind of been like quarantined.
You
from,
think
like,
so, but
you know what
there's
I mean?
stories of Jesus going over there, or not going over
yeah,
there, but
yeah.
there is stories of Jesus going over. There's stories of Jesus over there.
In the Far East, yeah.
Yeah, like they know what's up, and I think that, like, we'll get into this in the future, but I think that's a big part of their history is they have secrets, they have knowledge, and that's partly why, like, Japan went in and destroyed a bunch of their ancient shit, and they're still holding a grudge about it, is because they know that, like, dude, those were our secrets that you came in and destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think China. I'm off topic. I'm rambling.
It's good. Yeah, this is what we're going to be doing, though, is we're going into these topics. We got a bunch of them that we have already planned out and have kind of dove into. And one thing I'm really looking forward to is getting topic ideas and things that people want to hear more of, you know, once we start getting comments coming in.
Yeah, so we'll have a Discord and a Reddit hopefully set up where people can, you know, post things they want to hear us talk about, or maybe videos and clips that, you know, we'll need to reference. Let's get a
bring it to our attention.
Let's get a hive mind of douchebags going that fucking don't know a thing.
Yeah, we don't know nothing, but we're just figuring it out one nothing knowing at a time.
All right, well, with that then, I guess, kind of rambled on that point for too long, so we'll get back to ourselves. We'll ask each other where we basically are coming from with all of this. What's
we kind of
what's our background? What
come to Jesus moment?
Yeah. What really brought us down this path, and you know, our upbringings. So if you want to take it away, I'll let you start.
Yeah. We kind of shared a little bit of like the fact that we were in school together and stuff, and so Dave here, he knows quite a bit of my backstory, and he probably knows parts of it that I don't really know, because for the longest time I was doing stuff that my brain cells did not agree with.
Yeah, we're both problem children. Problem young adults.
Problem children.
Like, we didn't really figure it out until our mid-20s. We both were into some bad shit.
And figuring it out is a loose term that we're using right now, but it seems like things are working out. So, hey, you know, we'll take it where we can get it. But, no, for me, mostly, it was high school. Like you said, in high school, I kind of dove down a rabbit hole. It started up with Mr. S. He was our theater teacher in school, and going in there, and I started stumbling upon stuff. It was back when YouTube was super cool.
Yeah, he recognized that you were conscious.
Yeah.
He's like, this kid ain't droning around like the rest of them.
Yeah, and it was like I started going into like YouTube videos, you know, you're hearing about the Illuminati and stuff, and like you're a freaking 16, 17-year-old kid, and you don't really have like a basis in anything else. Before that, I was just kind of more of like a super science type person, you know, like some of my friends that I remember growing up with were like almost autistically smart with like science and stuff, and we would go into like, you know, making designs about stuff.
Your
and, like,
friend was
fiction.
literally autistically smart.
Yeah, 100%, literally. In a very wild way, but maybe for another time. So it went from this transition of like science and like sci-fi, kind of believing in aliens type deal, like the possibility of these things being out there, and I started going into like YouTube rabbit holes and finding out more about like the Illuminati and what's going on with like child sacrifice and,
alchemy,
and the trafficking, and like alchemy and aliens and stuff, you know, like just the fact with like Roswell and the lies and everything. And at some point I started really kind of wanting to figure out like the nature of reality. Reality was just such a weird thing. Like after seeing all that stuff, it's like what are you grounded in? Like what is it? It kind of made me super shifty. And so I'm kind of trying to find, my ground. And I'm in this class with this teacher, all right, and this class is like the worst kids. The worst kids go to this class because it's kind of a freebie. It's theater class. So it's a freebie class. You go in, and I mean, whether or not you actually did the class and passed, I mean, it was just like whatever. He would basically put movies on for people of like different plays, like Shakespeare and stuff, and you could just watch it, or kids would just sleep, and like it was a thing. But he had books on the shelf, and
he was kind of checked out as a teacher too. Like he'd been there for a long time. He was ready to retire soon, and he is like, kids
so
are fucking shit,
man.
Yeah. And the kids, he could see that nobody cared, and he wanted to like spark young minds, and no kid wanted to be sparked.
Yeah, and he's like classically like educated type guy. Yeah. Like his vocabulary was exquisite, and his whole like the way he carried himself, like the way his hair was. He had one of those things going on where it was like he would comb his hair over his whole
it didn't go all the way around.
You know what I mean? Dude, he was the type of guy. He was.
But then he sees little old you coming along, and he's like, that kid's got a mind to spark.
Guy. And
it's like, I'm gonna spark the shit out of this kid.
I kind of got into it. It was cool, like some of the stuff that like the plays and stuff. It was cool, and I would just get interested in it and stuff. And we kind of got like chit chat, and he saw that I was like someone that was actually taking the shit kind of seriously, so he took kind of a liking to me. And I don't know how, but we just started talking about some of these like spiritual type things. And at this point, I started diving into quantum physics. I mean, I can't do algebra. I failed algebra like twice. I was a super senior in high school. But for some reason, I'm trying to dive into quantum physics because it was just coming out, and it's like giving a description of reality that kind of made sense to me and stuff. So I started talking to him about that, and he gave me a book. In this book, it was my Bible at the time. It really was. It's as heretical as that shit was. It was The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot. And this book...
Well, you weren't very religious at the time, were you?
Hard. No, not really. I was more discovering more about spirituality type stuff. I think we were starting to take shrooms around then and shit, so it's like you're just kind of getting blasted out of your body, like fucking starting to figure things out. And YouTube
Christian?
Was awesome. My mother was Catholic, but very loosely. She would mention God and stuff, but she wasn't very practicey, other than just the old held type traditions of like Christmas and like teaching your kid like Jesus
praying
is
like
real,
this,
and that type of deal. But literally not really a practicing, like Catholic. And my dad is like admittedly like atheist. He really is more of like the science type guy, and like he's a mechanic, and he just kind of sees the world that way, sees his life that way, sees everything that way, and doesn't really give it too much of a thought about like spirituality or any credence to that type of stuff, because there ain't nothing pulling up by your bootstraps can't fucking figure out. But no, so this quantum physics stuff with my teacher, I started telling him about that, and once I told him about that, he went crazy. He's like, yes. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, this fucking kid knows, man. He's like, all right. He's like, I got a book I want you to read. And he gives me that freaking book. And I just, and it's like a science-y book, man. Like, it's hard to read. I tried giving that book to other people because it was so influential to me that I would try giving people that book to read. I'm like, dude, it'll change everything. You just got to read it. And they just
still never read it.
Read it. They can't read it. They can't understand what it's trying to say. And I'm like, dude, it really, like, just read the fucking thing. It's telling you all these experiments and shit. It talks about, like, the double slit experiment. It talks about all these different, like BPD, like bipolar disorder, and, like schizophrenia, and, like, how there's different states of mind. Like your mind goes to these different like personas. And so one persona, your main persona, maybe you are allergic to peanuts, or anything, whatever. You could be allergic to anything. They can literally trigger another you in your bipolar or schizophrenia. So they create another identity. And when they bring that identity to the front, you could be in the middle of anaphylactic shock. And if that other identity isn't allergic, you will stop being allergic to whatever it is, and you will be completely normal, and you'll just be whatever that personality is. So maybe that personality is more like depressed and shit or whatever, or maybe that personality is like super chipper or something or whatever. But it's whenever you switch those personality, it actually changes the way your brain's wired and how your body like reacts to things in your environment. And it was something like CIA went into and stuff. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff in this book,
Yeah.
and like, so I just didn't understand how people weren't getting it, but it was very, very dense. And that shit blew my mind wide open. After that, I could not grasp normal reality at all. Like, I just wasn't in the same place that most kids that are 16, 17, 18 years old are living in. They're trying to chase girls. They're trying to, race their cars around and get into college and all this other shit. And I'm like, holy shit, the double slit experiment. Is reality real? If I close my eyes or if I meditate, can I like change reality around? I was going into crazy things. Crazy. And I tried talking to people about all this stuff. And my whole friend group that I had, I'm like, they were not resonating, I sound crazy, and they tell me I sound crazy. And then I even get people telling me they just don't care. They don't care. And I'm like, how could you not care? It's like, what? How can you not care? And they just didn't. And it basically got to the point where people just didn't even really want to talk to me that much anymore, because I couldn't not talk about the shit because it blew my fucking mind. And they were so sick of hearing it because they didn't want to be existential. They wanted to be chasing girls, doing drugs, and fucking whatever, living life carefree. And I've got like the weight of the Illuminati and evil and also of like a different understanding of the world on my shoulders, like, it's like, holy shit. And I decided to blue pill myself. I remember actively telling myself, I'm going to give this up. I'm going to stop doing this. I want to live a more normal life. And I want to I want to have like what other people have. Because other people were having girlfriends and stuff, doing the thing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sacrifice this pursuit of truth, which is what it was. That's not what I really thought at the time. At the time, I'm like, I'm fucking crazy, and I need to chill the fuck out and do something else. So I decided to blue pill myself. And that's when I kind of went pretty hard. I got the things I wanted, really. Like, it was mostly just material shit or just whatever, like social shit. But it really did a number on me. I went way too hard into shit that was kind of trying to escape, and got into drugs, got into trouble with like the law and stuff, and it turned out to be a very bad decision, and ultimately leading me back to the same place again, to where it was the truth. The truth was what was going to set me free from that shit, and I did it again, and I got myself up, started doing the same thing. And then I start realizing as I'm a little bit older, I'm like, you can't live just off of doing shit like that, like podcasting was a thing, but I wasn't gonna start a podcast. I didn't think that I was too fucking crazy or didn't have enough confidence or whatever the fuck it was, And so it's like, there was really no path to go forward with the shit that I knew that like was what I wanted to do, what I wanted to know, what I was about,
Right.
But it just, so I ended up having to sacrifice my truth pursuits and everything to go hold down a fucking job and go freaking try to get into school and live a normal fucking life again. So blue pill number 2. same fucking situation happens again. And I just end up to another low. And I have a theory about it now that's more like, it's like frequency based and shit. Like, you can't know the truth of something or be on like a pursuit of truth, like a higher, like calling, a higher vibrational thing, and then knowingly bring yourself lower. Because doing that, you know you're not going to your potential. And it creates like a guilt loop. It creates like a guilt and shame type loop, and it brings you to a lower state, and it just attracts lower state shit.
Oh yeah.
And it's just gonna fuck you up, you know? If you're on a truth path, follow that bitch through and don't give it up for anything, you know? Really don't. Just try to figure out if you can integrate a little bit better, but don't sacrifice it like I did. Don't do that shit. That's not the way. And now I'm on my third truth line, and I am not going back to any blue pill ever the fuck again. No. It's awake until the day I die from this point on. But that is pretty much the backstory for all that shit.
It is a roller coaster, like being
roller coaster.
I hate to say like woke or awake, because like originally this is what that term meant. And then the fucking queers and gays and fucking fags commandeered the word. And now it's stupid. But no. It's like a roller coaster, and it has such low lows knowing these things that you just want to fucking stop knowing it. You want to just go back to normal. Ignorance is bliss, and you just can't be ignorant of it. So like
you can't be ignorant again.
So you gotta like do
you can never
things.
go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
You can't.
You end up doing bad things to yourself to
trying to escape
and forget.
Yes. And it creates a fucking pathway for demons and evil to try and work through you, you know, and consume you and to gnash you down with its teeth.
Yeah. So like I don't know if I actually had like chosen.
Yeah, what's your story? What's yours?
Thank you. I didn't actually like choose to blue pill. I feel like mine was more of like a story of complacency, because I was brought up very Christian. My dad and like my dad's side of the family, they're all Catholic, and we have family holidays very consistently, and it wasn't always like God oriented like I thought it would be, because with my mom was very God oriented, very Jesus oriented, talked about him every day, read her Bible every day. And I would go to my dad's side of the family, and I'm like, why don't they even talk about him? How come they don't acknowledge him? Like, it's Christmas, it's Easter. Why are we not talking about God? It's crazy. But then like I remember going to church with him, and it was so strict, and I'm like, this is weird. This is so fucking weird.
Yeah.
And my buddy, he did like church puppets. Every weekend they had a program where they went from church to church to church and did little puppet shows. And whenever I was hanging out with my buddy, I would just go with him. I didn't do puppets, but like I'd help him set up and I'd watch the shows. And I'm like, churches are fucking weird. Go to my aunt's when I'm really little, and my aunt's part of this mega church. And I'm like, wow, this is skeevy. So I had like a bad taste in my mouth for churches, but like still a really good taste for God. Like I feel like kids are turned off by church, and that turns them off from God. But luckily I had my mom, and actually my dad was still really good about it, because and I just asked my dad this recently, because we're at a funeral and the Catholic priest is up there telling my Catholic family what to do, how to pray, they're going through the thing. Now say after me, ba 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 ba. And they say the whole thing, and my dad's like me, he's got his hands together, he's being respectful, he's got his eyes closed, doing a prayer in his head, not saying anything out loud. And at the end I'm like, Dad, how come you didn't like participate in what the pastor was saying? How come you're not doing what everybody else is doing? He's like, because I have God in my heart. I don't need to have a pastor tell me how to connect with God. He's like, I got God right here. So that like confirmed with me that like when I was younger, I had that good upbringing with God through my parents. And so basically all of childhood, like I said, I was just incorporating everything into that belief. And I'm just like, yeah, no, God is great. God is good. God is the fucking creator of all things. And everything you say is either just like kind of bullshit because it doesn't go with God, or like I'm just going to incorporate it into God so that it makes sense. So like nothing ever like, nothing ever made me like doubt or not believe in God, but that incorporating things into it along the way got me fucked up. But before that, even I was just complacent. I guess I thought I was so good that I was not practicing my connection with God regularly enough. I wasn't seeking God. I wasn't trying to live out God's will. I was just like, God's got my back. We're best friends. God's coming with me. And
you thought you could just get through based on the will alone.
Yeah, like
it's
a great attitude to go with God, but like I wasn't going for God.
Yes.
Yes. I was certainly going for myself. So as I reached young adult, well, actually, I'll say that like this whole time I wasn't super into these conspiracies like Tommy was through high school, but I was also best friends with Tommy through high school. And I was the only one, I think, probably other than his girlfriend, that could stand to listen to him. And I wasn't doubting anything you were saying. I was right there. Yeah, I was just.
But you would always come at it with like some like.
I was skeptical.
Passive shit. You were, well, no, you'd be like, well, all you gotta do is just have faith in the Lord. Yeah, you know, like you would just do that thing. Yeah. But I do have to say, you did teach one very valuable thing, which was the pure joy thing. The pure joy thing was definitely a
consider
value.
All things pure joy. That's been my fucking motto since I was a kid. My mom told me that God said, even the negative things, even the bad, like consider all things pure joy. So I do, and when things are shitty, I've since learned that it's like a spell. You know, it's like me casting a fucking spell. When things are shitty and terrible, if I say pure joy, I start to laugh and giggle, and it doesn't affect me as much anymore. And I think that's like God's magic. That's God's power. It's fucking great. But anyway, I do remember like in high school, I had to like pull you aside and be like, bro, people are done listening to it. Like, I don't mind what you're saying, but people can't keep hearing it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't super into it like you were, but I was open and understanding. I did better in school than a lot of people I knew. So like it wasn't beyond me to comprehend all of these things. But like I also said before, like I kind of just took everything at maybe like 90% value. You know, I never like vested my all into anything. So, you know, I kind of focused on just being a young adult and working and trying to get my shit together. And along the way, I started to do a fucking bunch of illegal shit. I'm a sex addict, so I got arrested eventually for doing some shit that I shouldn't have been doing. And it didn't really stick with me that I needed to fucking get my act together. And it took a second fucking interaction with the police for me to get into a program. And getting into a 12-step program really kind
12-step programs, dude.
It really like forced me to reevaluate my relationship with God.
Yep.
And so I have been ever since, and in that capacity, like I've been doing really good, and I feel like still though after that I was complacent in like truth seeking, I guess. I was still that person that just absorbed everything, took everything at face value. I'm not denying too much. I'm not really like source checking too much. I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, fucking conspiracies, blah, 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 blah. Didn't really, my buddy, I was working with this kid that, well, actually, I don't think this was, it was around the same time. So I'm working with this kid that he's a flat earther, and I was not a flat earther. But I go to work with him every day, and we would debate it back and forth. And so I knew every counter argument to the flat earth, and for like almost a year we're debating this thing, and he had never changed my mind until like well after I had worked with him did I start even to consider it. But yeah, I don't know, I started to,
it kind of cracked you open a little.
yeah, I guess it was COVID that really, really shook me, like, into like this person that cared. I never cared about politics. I didn't care about the news. I didn't care about what was going on. Like, the conspiracy shit was like an off hobby, not even like a main thing. It wasn't until like the COVID thing that it really like made me realize like how actively evil all of it really was, and how pervasive it was everywhere. And by that point I knew that like it was the food, it was the media, it was the everything. And I was in a position at that point shortly after COVID where I'm with this woman, my now wife, that she's had fallen away from God and started to practice a bunch of witchy shit. And so in talking faith with her over the years, I'd like melded all this witchy shit into my beliefs, where I'm like, oh yeah, all the pagans, they just, that shit that sounds really close to what we're talking about is just the same shit. They didn't know who he was because they hadn't like had the same interactions as the people in the Bible, but like their God's our God. Nothing wrong with that. And like I thought the Muslims and the Jews were praying to the same God. I thought this Abrahamic God, I thought that was all the same God. Nope. Everybody's praying to different gods. Don't get fucking confused. Yeah. And I came to believe that like the gods from ancient cultures that we're told are just myth. Now I kind of believe that those fuckers were probably real and walking around. Like I started to get all these really crazy ideas and take them more instead of like more at face value. It makes more sense to me now than what the given narrative is.
Like, you're taking in all this stuff and you're trying to incorporate it into one view, and you don't really understand that there is kind of objective truth, And I think that it's, you only
in
really
talking
get
about it gives me
truth.
the feeling that like I'm just a crazy crackpot conspiracy theorist that's just bought a bunch of shit all over the years. And like that, I feel like that's what I've made it sound like, but really it's like I now am trying to grow a much deeper understanding with God. And through that understanding coming from God, I feel like I'm able to now discern more of all this shit that's come my way my whole life. Because again, I was the denier. I was the person that, my dad was super fucking patriotic. So I believed in the American government. I thought the government was a great thing. I thought there was at least some people out there trying to help us. I thought eventually shit would get better. I believed in science. I believed in the globe. I believed in all of these things. And I believed every other religion. I tied every other religion into my religion. So like, I've come from a place of accepting everything to now I want to hear everything. Fucking try to dissuade me from what I believe. But as I have since I was a child, I still believe that 100% we come from a creator. I don't want to call him God, but I am, Jesus. Yeah. Fucking. Yeah. I feel like we're fucked with the names and the words and all the stuff, but the Christian God, I believe in Jesus Christ.
I think it's more intent. It's more intent. What you're
like. I don't even like to call myself a Christian, but I believe in God.
I definitely am a Christian.
I believe in
Christian just
God,
means you follow
Jesus, and
Christ.
the Holy Spirit.
Christian
yeah,
means
but
you
like
follow
Christian's
Christ.
so muddied.
Yeah, well, I'll claim that shit back. I don't care. I don't care. You know what's crazy though is it could be as muddied as it wants to be, but that's already been talked about. That at like the end of days, all the Christians are going to be persecuted, and you're going to end up having to either sacrifice your life to be a Christian, or you're going to have to accept a mark to become one with that beast system.
Right.
So to me, it's like hold that thing always. Like who cares? It can be as muddied as it wants to be.
To be completely honest, and it sounds fucking cheesy as fuck, but I feel, at least for me, that this was very much sparked on, like we said, we talked about it forever. We were both not super motivated, but we had a strong desire to do it for a long time. I feel like a lot of the motivation was sparked by the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
That too.
That idea that, like, just having these ideas that we're going to be speaking about on this show got somebody killed. Like, he, of course, he wasn't a conspiracy theorist. I'm not going to ascribe all of our beliefs to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
But it was the idea of, like, just talking and got the guy killed. So we want to talk. We have things to say that we want to say.
We don't want to get killed, but we want to talk.
I want to say things that somebody might kill me for, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I know, but you can do that shit for yourself, but I don't want to die for freaking shit. I want to have good conversations and help people.
There's points,
shit,
there's points and there's conversations that they don't want to be had, and I want to have those.
Well, we can, if we find points that are worth talking about, then sure, we talk about points that are worth talking about, but I'm not going to just bring up the shit that they want to kill people for because they want to kill people for bringing shit up. You know what I mean?
We're
like,
not just
I'm not
going
trying
off
to
the
get
checklist.
fucking murdered here, If I get martyred in my life, then I get martyred. If it happens where the world starts turning on Christian people or people that, hold certain faiths, then sure. Then I die that way. That's what I mean. I'm not going to go seeking that.
Right.
I'm not seeking that.
That's the point, though, is I'm standing up for our values, essentially. Yeah. I feel like our values are getting attacked. And it's very strong to just speak about them. And that's all we want to do is talk. And if people want to come on and argue and tell us we're stupid and how we're wrong, we'd love to have you, to be honest. Like, that would be a fucking great episode. But really the point is just to converse, because the opposing side wants to cancel us. Not us, but like they want to cancel people. That's the idea, is to just shut them up. We can't even listen to them. Their ideas are fringe and they're dangerous and they're harming people and they just shouldn't be talking. And it's like, no, everybody should be able to talk. If you don't like what we have to say, we should have 0 views, Or like 1,000 thumbs down and all negative comments. And you know what? Maybe after long enough of getting not a single positive comment and people fucking hate, well, maybe we'll stop. But that's the thing. It's a fucking capitalist economy. It's an open market. Like, boycott us. Like, cancel culture's stupid. Everybody should be able to talk. Nobody should be getting shot for what they have to say. And
I agree 100%. 100%. That's the type of stuff that made, that was the reason your dad was the patriotic guy. Why, like, our parents are patriotic folk.
Well, it's what everybody's grandparents
they grew up in was that.
Yeah, it's what everybody's grandparents went to fucking war for. It's what everybody fucking died for. And like, maybe it was a lie sold to them by the people in power at that time. Maybe our country's been a whole fucking lie since the beginning, and we're going to talk about these things in the future. But the people that live here, the idea of America, I think it is still strong and powerful and something to be believed in. I still am very patriotic. Like, there is the idea of being fucking free, and that's what our country fucking feels in our blood, is stronger than anybody else. We just want to maintain freedom.
There's an argument to be made that it's the falling away from God that has been the real catalyst for the degradation of America as we know it today.
Oh yeah.
There's a huge argument to be made for that. There, a lot of people,
especially people on the
opposing side, they'll say it's a bunch of different things. But yeah, we used to hold similar morals, and these morals, I mean, they've guided the peak of civilization around the planet for the past 2,000 years.
Right.
So to me, it's like that's the order. That's where the order comes in, and beautiful things, most beautiful things come from that order. And it's when you are openly neglecting that order, or ignorant of that order, is when the issues start creeping in, and they start getting very sinister, and like creeping into all the different facets of society.
And I agree with separation of church and state, because giving church any state-like power is dangerous, because the church is corrupt. However,
it should just be part of the public. The public should just be, like, we've been misled on what is.
Our Constitution was founded by people that believed in God. One nation under God. Like, there is still God in our government. And the separation of church of state should just mean to separate the church from stately powers. Not to say that our government shouldn't be a Christian-based government. We should maintain that at all costs.
We need to be voting people in. Well, I mean, the thing with voting is especially nowadays, who knows if it's legit or not. That's been a byproduct of the past decade now. Has there been any real
What's more important than
elections?
voting is voicing. Voice your opinions.
Yes.
Call your local congressman. Call your local mayors. Make your voices heard. Send in the mail. Fucking post office is cheap. Make your voices heard. Boycott shit. Like, you're gonna hear that a lot through this show. I am big into boycotting, because we don't do it enough, and that's the greatest power we have, is to, one, talk about the shit, and two, don't spend your money on it. All they want is your money, and they're getting it every day, hand over fist, because you've just subscribed to everything. Even if it's not a subscription, you're subscribed to your bag of chips every week. You need your box of cereal every week. You need your fucking shampoo and conditioner. You need your gas. You need, But where are you going to get it from? Because you have a choice. You have the option to boycott these motherfuckers. And maybe if you have to, go without. But, like, it goes for everything. You can just boycott with your ears. Don't listen to people. Don't support people that are saying shit that you disagree with. Make sure that they hear your opposition. I'm going to try to motivate people to let's fucking do shit about it. And hopefully we'll get to a point where we can, with your help. Mm-hmm. I would maybe
do
down the line like
with,
to do
with what we've got.
Yeah.
But at some point, it does boil down to, are you gonna keep going with what we know is not good for any of us? Are we gonna keep going for sin and evil, or are we gonna change? As a society? And it starts at an individual basis. It's not to say that either one of us are there. It's always going to be a work in progress. No one's ever going to be perfect. There's only one perfect person to ever walk the face of the earth, and it ain't any of us. But living up to that example and that pursuit, to me, is what made things great when they were great. And the reason they're not great now is because people were not pursuing that order. We're not pursuing that person anymore. People are just pursuing self. People are pursuing gratification and things that are lowly. And so lowly things are going to happen. They're going to follow. When you pursue high things happen. And it's just, that's something I think everybody should be aspiring for. It's what I try to aspire for. Fall short quite a bit, but I'm a human being and trying my best here, No. Let's get a crew going. It might be a little easier, like doing this shit on your own is pretty tough. You got a little freaking group of people. I mean, it makes it a lot easier when you can network up. That's why it's tough to not buy the shampoo, because we're all separate. So the person who's really into botanicals and like making like their own soaps and stuff, they're over in their own corner. doing their own thing, you know? And then the person over here that's really good at doing carpentry and shit, or the person over here that's good at growing food, you know, we're all separate. We're all separate right now. And until we come together,
and we let fuckers come in.
You're going to the store. You're going to, you know, these big corporations that are overtly not in your interest, and they're lobbying for your politicians that are going to be overtly not serving your interests.
Yeah.
And it's going to turn out to be that one day you're going to wake up, look around you, and everything is going to be not in your interest. And you're going to wonder what the fuck happened.
It already is.
Exactly.
Unless you're a fucking goober.
The real answers, you know, they lie within something that really isn't new at all. It might be new to you, but it's definitely not new. And powerful as heck it is.
So, I want to say that I was just thinking back on what I was saying before about boycotting. Fuck any advertiser that we don't agree with. So, obviously, we're so small and bullshit right now, we're not going to be getting anybody lining up to advertise.
No, pretty much
our
at
shit.
all.
But we're accepting advertisers. We're open to your shit. So, email us and send us some shit. But we're not going to advertise ever for any product or any business that we disagree with, have opposing stances with. So, don't ever think you can fucking, I don't know, get one over on us with some money, because that ain't gonna happen. Also, on that note,
I don't even care if I get money.
we're small and bullshit. So if you have a small little bullshit thing that you want advertised, $5-10, fuck it, you know, it's going into the pod fund. Any little bit helps. So if you have any sort of little thing that you need shouted out, let us know, and maybe we could do an advertisement for you on the real cheap. You know, let's work together.
Yep.
Try to build a community. Like I said, I don't care if it's fucking $5.
Yeah.
Also, we're gonna be looking for guests. If you've got
guests.
If you've got crazy fucking cryptid stories, if you've got any gang stalker stories, if you've got any crazy conspiracies that aren't on the internet, if you've been abducted by an alien, like your journeys, you know,
if you want to hear about other people's journeys and how they came to understand what's going on, you know, what their understandings are,
if you've got a cool profession and you're privy to some shit that people don't know about.
Pieces of the puzzle, man. Pieces of the puzzle. Everybody's got their pieces, and coming together to form a thing is that's what I like. That's what I want. I want to get all the crazy stuff everyone else is saying and kind of figure out what's going on. You know.
Yeah.
I know kind of a general idea of what's going on, but I don't know exactly all the things that are going on. There's so many things going on.
That's another thing.
Where do they fit? Where do they fit?
I have a lot of things I want to say. I have a lot of things I want to talk about, but also I have a small feeling like I'm already running out of steam, and I do very much want to hear some other people talk about what they want to say, give them a platform to get whatever off their chest that they haven't been able to. So that would be good. Like, that's what I'm looking forward to with this podcast. That's what I want to create.
Yeah.
What else we got?
We literally covered it all.
Yeah. So, with that, we'll fucking wrap it up. You guys, and you're going to see in the next couple episodes that we don't have socials, but we'll have everything up by the time these episodes go up.
Yeah, by the time all this is up, it's all going to be there.
Yeah, but you guys know how to do the internet thing, so I don't got to tell you what to do. Figure it the fuck out.
You'll see it right at the end. Just go to all those things, give us a like, give us a follow.
But shout out to, I gotta fucking recognize this motherfucker more.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to
cool.
Kontraamusic. I don't know where else he is. We got some stuff off of Free Sound to make our intro and outro. Kontraamusic seems to be the only one on there that knows what he's doing. All his shit is gold.
Yep.
Everybody else is just, honestly, it's free noise. It's nice. I appreciate everybody else's work on there. But Kontraamusic,
yeah, if you're trying to start a podcast or if you're trying to do anything with the free music, you know, that's where we got our intro, you know. So it's
so shout out to Kontraamusic. Appreciate you
for
providing some fucking free sound for people. But yeah, we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.